probably the only one in the entire museum. I'm just jumping around Columbus's ships all by myself, in and out. So here I am on the Pinta, standing right on it. If you did something bad, they would send you up there. It was all curved, so you had to kind of fit yourself in one of these little nooks to sleep. How comfy. I'm going inside Columbus's room on the Santa Maria. This would have been where Columbus and his crew would have taken communion before they set out on the Rio Tinto. I would love to just have been there and little fly on the wall in this hut. I'm here by myself at the fountain where Columbus would have gotten the water for his ships. Hi. Yeah, the Italians are also following the path of Columbus, so here we are. This is not a green screen. This is an actual recreation of the two caravels and the ship that Columbus sailed for the first time on his discovery of the New World for Europe in 1492. Most people know very little about Christopher Columbus and the voyages that changed the world forever. And almost no one knows where it all began. So today, I'm going to take you to the village in the south of Spain where it all started. I'll explore and explain all three of the ships while taking you on them. Then we'll go to the last church where Columbus and his crew took communion and to the actual well where he drew water for the epic voyage into the unknown. Welcome to the Ships of Columbus, an adventure in Palos de la Frontera, Spain. Okay, here I am at the Muelle de las Carabelas, which means Pier of the Caravels. Nice little museum they have set up. There are no guided tours in English, not even an audio guide in English, unfortunately, but I did happen to find a guide who speaks a little bit of English, and he said he'll speak Spanish slowly, and he's gonna give me a tour for 10 euros. So here I am, embarking upon my own journey of the rediscovery of the Americas from the same place that the very first journey was embarked upon in 1492. Right behind me is the Santa Maria. So the Santa Maria had room for 40 people on it, The other two ships had 30 and 20, the two caravels, which were smaller. It almost looks to me like something that could go down a river. So it was in small ships, caravels just like this, that the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria set out here from Spain in their journey of what Columbus would end up until the day he died thinking was something like Japan. This ship full of 40, 30, 20, that's just 90 people, would change everything about the world that we knew and the world that we live in today. Right here, these little ships changed everything. Now remember that the Santa Maria never made it back to Spain, so Columbus sailed on the Nina a couple times after that. So it's a pretty good vantage point. This is the Pinta, right?
Yes.
Pinta? Nina? No,
Pinta.
Pinta, okay. Pretty good vantage point here on the Pinta. So they left in August, right?
Yes, it's 30 person in
30 people. 30
Yes.
personas.
Sí.
Y salieron en agosto de Huelva.
3 de agosto de Palos de la Frontera, Huelva.
Yeah, they left in August from Palos de la Frontera, and from the Canaries, they left on the 6th of September. That was their little stop. So it was from this ship that somebody first saw land. ¿Y qué tierra vieron? Era Bahamas,
Guanahani.
¿no? Guanahani.
San Salvador.
San Salvador. The guy's explaining to me that he called the island that he landed on San Salvador because he was so grateful to have survived the mutinies, which there was going to be another one if they didn't find land really soon. A civilian named Rodrigo was the first to sight land. So here I am on top of the Pinta. Never thought I'd be here. So here I am on the Pinta, standing right on it. And the guide is telling me about the foods, that after they left the Canaries, so much of the food started to spoil that they would make sure to feed them at night so that they wouldn't see the worms in the food. Apparently, when Columbus actually first was informed that he saw the new land, he did a dance, and apparently even 500 years ago, it was like a running man. There's a statue of him. He went like this, like, "Booyah!" And then there's a statue of Queen Isabella like this, because I think when she heard the news, she did her signature dance, which was like, so right now I'm looking upward at what they call in Spanish the carajo, which would have been used as basically a prison. If you did something bad, they would send you up there where you'd be tossed and turned by the elements, fried, frozen. Not a fun place, and that actually is a word now in Spanish. Like, they use that word carajo to mean, you know, you're being punished or you're in a prison or something. So imagine being sent up there. Okay, I'm going inside Columbus's room on the Santa Maria. And here he is.
Columbus.
What's also interesting is if you look at the shape of the ship, the water can come in here, but since it's on a ridge, it will slide right off. Or it'll slide right down over there.
A ver, yo soy autónomo.
So right now I'm in the bodega of the Santa Maria, which basically means the underbelly. This is double the size of the Nina, so it actually feels a little bit spacious underneath here, relatively speaking. So to sleep, there wouldn't have been this floor here. It was all curved, so you had to kind of fit yourself in one of these little nooks to sleep, like this. Wow. How comfy. Well, that was a really good tour by Carlos Manuel. I found him at the monastery and gave me the tour of the ships, which added a layer of depth that I wouldn't have had, so that was very nice. Now I'm gonna go check out the recreation of the village of Guanahani one time before I leave. So it was in simple huts just like this that the natives would have lived in. The very same ones that would have seen these 3 ships. Something that they could have never possibly imagined at the time. Something this big, made out of wood, floating in the water. I think it's a really nice tribute that this museum did to not only recreate the ships and the caravels on which Columbus sailed in his first voyage in 1492 from near here in Palos de la Frontera, but they also recreated the first village where he would have landed. It was called Guanahani in the indigenous language. San Salvador by Columbus. I love stepping back in the past in a great book, but I also love stepping back into the past when you can just visualize your whole surroundings. This has been a really cool little trip. I mean, I would love to just have been there and little fly on the wall in this hut when they saw Columbus and his scraggly crew. Got potatoes, green and red peppers, corn, peanuts, some sort of pulses. I did not know that red peppers were a New World vegetable. I'm gonna have to double check my facts on that. By the way, overall, I find the people here in Spain to be super sweet and super nice. I wasn't expecting them to be that nice, but for the most part, they really are. It's been a pleasure. They've been really helpful and really sweet. I definitely will come back. I didn't stay in this little town where these ships are. I stayed about 6 miles away because there's not much of a town here. So I stayed in a hotel in a city called Huelva. But overall, I had a great day. Had a great time. So here I am at the Church of St. George. This would have been where Columbus and his crew would have taken communion before they set out on the Rio Tinto and into the ocean for their adventure to the Americas. Unfortunately, it's closed, so I can't see the inside, but from the outside, it's a nice church. Dear, I have an audience of Italian friends now that came with me on the day where everything's closed. So I don't know what Columbus would have said. Specifically, he probably said, God, please give me a lot of gold. I don't know, what else?
Let me come home safe.
Let me come home safely, bring lots of Japanese things. A car ran over my leg on the way up here. Hopefully I'll be fine. A lot of risks to get here, but please take me home safe. So these are my new friends from Italy.
Hi.
Yeah, the Italians are also following the path of Columbus, so here we are. This is my special guest. What's your name?
My name is Fabio. I'm a friend of Picky Nomad.
A friend of Picky Nomad, but also maybe a friend of Columbus because you're from Italy, right?
A cousin of
Cousin, right?
Ancient,
You think so, really?
yes.
Oh. Is anybody from Genoa?
No.
No.
From Lecce. From Lecce, the south of Italy.
Oh, the south. Is that by Naples?
No. And
More.
Yeah.
Sicily. No.
600 kilometers from Naples.
I have a friend from Benevento.
No,
Down more. Oh, okay.
out just the hill.
Should I visit?
The hill.
There's
Yes.
lots to see.
Yes.
Everything closed on Monday? No. All that's left today is this church and a strawberry field, which is apparently the area which he would have sailed from. I don't know if the water was higher and covered what is now the strawberry field, or if they kind of rolled it on down into the river. The river's called the Rio Tinto. But again, an awe-inspiring place. Before the world changed forever, Columbus would have prayed and taken communion, probably for the very last time before seeing the New World, right here in the Church of St. George. Found another site. It was a little bit difficult to find because I didn't know what I was looking for, but this is called La Fontania. These nice little kids helped me figure out what it is. And this is the well that Columbus would have used. La Fontania, which basically means, I think, the little fountain. So I'm not sure if it exactly was like a natural spring or some sort of well, but this would have been where Columbus got water and filled up his ships before he left. From right here. No entiendo la pregunta, no hablo bien español. Hola! So there's not much to see here in this town anymore, but the children who actually served as my tour guides were showing me that the water actually came up much further than it is now. So now, where Columbus actually sailed from are strawberry fields. Strawberry fields forever, right? But the water would have been much higher coming off the Rio Tinto at the time. So I'm standing very close to where he would have sailed from. The last place he would have touched ground. So one of the joys of kind of setting your own travel plans and coming up with your own ideas, as hard as it is making a YouTube channel these days, is you get little surprises like being in a place completely by yourself because you're in a tourist destination that's really not that popular. So I'm here by myself at the fountain where Columbus would have gotten the water for his ships. Those big barrels that I saw in the ships yesterday were filled by the water from here. This is the fountain that fed the thirst of the sailors who would land in the New World. Remember that Columbus didn't do any of this alone. Of course, there were the crew who were underneath cooking and cleaning and manning the ship. But he didn't even do all the planning alone and the administration alone. This is the statue of the Pinta brothers, who are from here, Palos de la Frontera. They were Spanish, and they were instrumental in his discovery of the New World. So because so much of the area that is now land used to be underwater, I'm actually walking down the path of the boats, the Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Pinta, that they would have sailed out onto the Rio Tinto on. Columbus and the Pinta brothers sailed from right here. I'm at the Rio Tinto, just outside of the small town of Palos de la Frontera, which actually wouldn't have been that small at the time, relatively speaking. Apparently these goats and sheep are very, very friendly. They might think that I have some food, but I don't. Oh, you're so cute. It's moments like this that make you realize why they wrote songs about sheep peacefully grazing and the feeling that it gives you, even in religious contexts, and why Jesus was always associated with lambs and sheep. Just standing here with these sheep, you have this sense of really kind of a blissful peace. What better way to end this video than by saying goodbye at the Fountain of Youth here. When I say the Fountain of Youth, I'm talking about the Fountain of the Youth of the Americas, the place where it all began. I was really thrilled to make this video for you. I hope you support me in making more of these videos. There's going to be lots of stuff in the description of this YouTube video here if you want to find other ways to connect. So please do that. Please leave a like. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this. And please make sure to leave a comment if you have any kind of questions. I'm happy to answer them. If they're about the history, I might know it, I might not have included it. Maybe you have a correction for me. Sometimes it seems like a lot of people have those. Those are welcome as well. Polite, hopefully. And anyway, if you just want to say hi, especially if I meet you on one of my journeys, you'd be surprised. I'll probably remember who you are, even of all the people that I meet. If you just tell me the city, I remember those people. So, can't wait to see you. Interact with me if you want to. And I will see you on the next video.